Hi guys, so I'm back for another book review. For those of you who are subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for sticking with me. I know it's been quite some time since I've been with you guys, but thank you so much for sticking around. So today I'm going to be reviewing a book called What Looks Like Crazy on an Ordinary Day, and it's by Cleage. So put your Pearl on the back. This is the first novel that I've read by this particular author. I did a little bit of research on her, and I see that she has some other books that got quite good reviews. So I do plan on reading more from this author. The reason that I read this book, it was actually suggested to me by one of my friends, co-workers, and she told me that it was an awesome book and that I definitely had to read it. So I kept it for quite some time until one day I just decided to pick it up. Over my vacation, I was just doing a lot of reading, and I decided to give it a shot. So one thing that I would like to say about this book is it kept me engaged the whole time. It's basically about a character named Ava Johnson. She was living in Atlanta. She was very prosperous. She owned a beauty salon, and then she actually got diagnosed with AIDS. So she decided to take to sell her salon and go and visit her childhood home with her sister Joyce in Idlewild, Michigan. The reason that she wanted to get away is because she was living in Atlanta and it was very fast paced, and she was living this lifestyle to where she basically did what she wanted to do when she wanted to do it, with whom she wanted to do it. And she really just wanted to get away and just kind of, reconnect with her sister for a little bit and just kind of be back in that comfort of where she came from. Now, this book, even though I read this book, I would say in maybe a day and a half, possibly 2 days, because it kept me reading. I mean, this book just kept me turning the pages. I did not want to put it down because it dealt with so many complex issues, and it's quite short. As you can see, it's not really that long of a book, but it deals with so many complex issues, and I'm not even sure how she was able to just put all of that in there and really get a full sense of the reader will really get a full sense of the characters, the situations that are going on in her surroundings, and it's just a very, very well written, well thought out book. It's actually a part of Oprah's book club. So if you're one of those people who really follows Oprah's book club, then you've obviously probably read this book. But I can definitely see why it was one of the picks for the club, because I just absolutely loved it. One of the things that I loved about the book was the character Ava, because as I mentioned before, she got diagnosed with AIDS, and from someone looking on the outside in, someone who, me in particular, I've never experienced that type of disease, not any of my friends, not any of my family, and so I've never really had a first-hand account of what really goes on in the psyche of a person who's going through such a tumultuous, having to experience such a horrible disease. And the thing that was interesting to me was that it kind of gave you the viewpoint on AIDS that it's not completely a death sentence, and that it's not always as gruesome as someone who hears the word AIDS would think it is. It was very refreshing because we find Ava in this situation where she was drinking a lot, and I think she kind of used that as a coping mechanism, and she had, in a sense, not completely given up. She hadn't given up. I didn't get that sense from her that she had given up on her life, but she kind of had just gotten herself in this mindset that, this was this disease that she had. She would probably, be by herself for the rest of her life, and that was basically just the end. But as you go through the book, she actually meets a man named Eddie Jefferson while she's visiting her home, her hometown, and she had known him before, obviously. And I won't go into too much detail because obviously some of you are probably watching this review and you haven't read the book yet. But I will just say that you get the perspective from the book that there's so much that a person who is diagnosed with HIV can do. And I'm sorry, she was diagnosed with HIV. I apologize. It's not full-blown AIDS yet. HIV. So that was my mistake. I apologize for that. But you don't get the sense that it's just her life has ended. And the emotional part of that is just rooting for her to, for her to get in a place where she can feel comfortable with her life, and not feel like her life was going to end so soon. And I really like that part of the book. Another thing that I really liked about the book is it focused on a lot of the issues in the church community. And it's not one of those books where you're going to read that has completely to do with church, and it's not like that. So if you're one of those people who are kind of turned off by books that just deal with the church and everything is around the church setting, and it's not like that. However, it does focus on some of the issues that occur in the church. For one, there's the issue of the hypocrisy, and it goes into for me, I kind of, after I read the book, I went back and thought about some of the issues that went on, and I kind of connected the dots, and I kind of, really thought about it more in depth about how Ava, who was our main character, she witnessed some things that were going on in the church, and you would assume that the person who had HIV and they had lived this elaborate life where they just felt like they were free and sexually free, you would have thought that she would have brought those issues to the forefront, especially considering the fact that she had kind of been come against in a negative way, I'll just say that, from some of the people in the church because of her disease. And the fact that she kind of showed that she had even more compassion, that she was more willing to not judge others, even in the instance where those same people were judging her. And that was really remarkable for me, and that really made me have a lot of respect for her as a character in this book. She is living with her sister Joyce while she's in her hometown, and Joyce is a lovable character. She's just that sister. She loves her. She wants to make sure she's okay, and their connectedness is really nice to read. She's almost like a mother to her, but she also kind of brings Ava into these situations that I don't really think Ava intended to be a part of, but she basically ended up creating this group for women, or for young girls in this underprivileged neighborhood who had children, and she started trying to teach them about how to have safe sex, and how to have healthy relationships, as opposed to the abusive or damaging ones that they would have with the boys in their surroundings. And Ava kind of got pulled into the situation, but ultimately, you'll find out when you read the book, but ultimately I think she became comfortable in that particular role, and it kind of led to her realizing that her life was still very relevant, and maybe some of the things that she had gone through and when she was younger, and what got her to the place that she is now, maybe she could use that to help these younger girls. And I really can't say enough good things about this book. You guys know that I'm always honest with you. If there's something about a book that I don't like, I will let you know. And honestly, this book was it was good from the beginning to the end to me. I absolutely loved it. I loved the way it was written. I loved every single character. I loved the character development. Even the negative characters were very well. She kind of took her time, but she got everything in there so nicely fit together. The book just comes together like a very beautiful puzzle, and it'll have you thinking about your life. It'll have you thinking about how you view others, in situations that you might not be comfortable with or you might not be familiar with. It'll have you thinking about your faith and you know, where you fit into your faith and what things, some of the things that we think are, let's say, a lot of times we focus on the sins that we commit, especially as, you know, being, you know, a Christian, and it helps you to kind of think about how are you portraying yourself when you're not in church. How are you, you know, are you being a good person? Are you being hypocritical? Are you being judgmental of others, even when it's in your subconscious and you're not necessarily doing it on purpose? I just really, really love this book, and I'm definitely going to pick up some more books from this author. So if you guys read this, leave some comments, leave me a message, let me know how you like the book. If you have any suggestions about what I should read next, definitely leave me a comment or send me a message. I read all of my comments and my messages, so I'll definitely get back to you. I need some more things for my list, so let me know what you guys are reading. Let me know if you like this review. Anything else that you want to know, let me know. Thanks guys for watching. Have a great day. See you next time.